The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Yeah, the goal of Jay Carney is beyond belief. I mean, at a press conference not very long ago, he was presented with the question, well, the president, quote unquote, said that if you liked your health insurance, you could keep it. What happened to that? He said, yeah, you can keep it. It's just going to cost you a lot more than it used to. That's all. Did you hear that?
Yes, I know, and that is typical of Jay Carney. I had a radio show called American Heartline with Dr. Grace, and in one of my shows we counted down the top 10 lies of Jay Carney. He is nothing other than a professional liar, and I think that he's also doing a disservice to his position as press secretary. That position is not to simply lie on behalf of the president. Once you discover that the president isn't telling the truth, if you're a person of conscience, you should just resign. Say, Mr. President, I'm not going to go out there and lie on your behalf. So Jay Carney, as far as I'm concerned, is complicit with all of the lies of this president because he goes out there and he tries to sell those lies to the press. And one of the things you see, too, is that the press is becoming increasingly demoralized as they cover this White House because they know they're being lied to. In some instances, they even laughed in the face of Jay Carney. And I've never seen that kind of a spectacle, that kind of disrespect of the White House press secretary.
They must have a very large liquor cabinet at the White House. You know, Dr. Grace, we pride ourselves here. You mentioned something before. The problem that we have, we don't claim where he was born. We don't claim he's not an American. We don't know. When we present our sheriff kit or the information on the forged birth certificate, the Selective Service Registration Card, and the Social Security number, and other things, people say, "Oh, you're one of them birthdays. He was born in Kenya." We never said that. I never said that. That's never been on my website. Where did you get that information from? That's because way, way back at the beginning, that's what this is all about. When the Clintons started this and all of that, we don't know. We don't know if he's an American. I don't know if that's his real mother. I don't know who his father is. I can tell you it's not Barack Obama Sr. I don't know. We just don't know. We know there's false documents, and that's what we take pride on in representing that and trying to show people, including Congress, that there is a problem with the documentation. When we walk in there, they were rolling their eye. Oh, yeah, this is about Kent. No. Give me 5 minutes and I'll show you. And we turned some heads. And we turned some people around. They said, oh, we thought you were those Kenyan people saying he was born in Kenya. We thought we resolved that. No, you have false information. Well, what cave have you been living in? And we've had to put up with that, the attacks, the racist. Hey, I'm not a racist. I don't like Joe Biden either. You know, you have to take it with a grain of salt.
Yes, and that's quite right. And the same is with my position as well. I don't claim to have any knowledge as to where he was born. I don't know if it was Hawaii or it was Kenya or it was Indonesia or who knows. I am exactly as you are. The only thing I have reported on is that forensic experts, even I am not a forensic expert, I've simply reported that a forensic expert has said in a sworn legal affidavit that the document is a fake. And it's not just one document analyst. Lieutenant Zullo has 1,200 different kinds of tests that were done on the document that render it a fake. And all of this is in the court. So we now have officers of the law that are saying it. That is really important because for me that was really the watershed. It's not just another columnist, another newspaper, somebody that writes in a newspaper of any kind, another reporter. It's not a radio host that is saying it. This is now a legal proceeding with legal documents. That is at the moment that I jumped in and put my own professional credibility on the line in terms of chronicling this legal battle that is going on. But I'm not pronouncing on it. I'm simply depicting the facts as they unfold.
Well, I am a flat-out birther.
I want to take a 1 minute call before I forget. I've been forgetting to do this. First, I'd like to thank Birther Report. I want to thank them. I can't thank them enough for daily information. And I'd like to thank Commander Charles Kirshner, retired. He took out an ad in the Washington Times about the Selective Service Registration Card forgery, forged document. He took it out for 3 straight weeks. I had him put my phone number from my website, 570-394-2570. I can't tell you the flood of calls that came in from all over the country, the people with connections, with political connections, with judges. I'm still taking calls and working with people on a daily basis. I'd like to thank the commander for placing that ad in the paper. It really gave us a boost. I'm still communicating with people from that. I'm still mailing out kits. I owe about 15 more kits I'm going to mail out tomorrow. So I just wanted to give those kudos. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Carl.
Yeah, you had to have seen that ad, right, Grace?
I had not seen that. Are you asking me the question?
Yeah, in the Washington Times.
No, I don't know.
Oh,
I had not seen that ad. But there have been lots of different folks who have really put their neck on the line. I mean, remember Colonel Larkin, who actually went to jail demanding the certificate. And then once the certificate was released, I wrote a piece called Questions Abound. When the president presented the long-form birth certificate, I asked the question, well, I don't understand. If you released it now, why didn't you release it before this man went to jail? Why would you allow the man to go to jail? That doesn't make sense to me.
None of this makes sense. None of it makes sense. Unlike you and Mike Zullo and everybody else, and I certainly understand his strategy, because if the birth certificate is fraudulent, that's a felony and somebody committed it. If the selective service card is fraudulent, that's a felony and he committed it. If the Social Security number is fraudulent, that's a felony and somebody committed that. But I am a flat-out birther. I think he's born in Kenya.
Well, thinking and proving are two different things. So what we need to focus on is what we can prove. I think that's what Lieutenant Zullo is working very hard on, and I try to keep all my reporting strictly on the facts. And I think the more we do that, the more we strengthen our hand, strengthen our credibility, and keep the story alive until we get to the bottom of it.
Yep. Mike?
Well, with that, I'm afraid I'm going to have to end this interview. Mike, did you have another question for me?
Uh-oh.
Hello?
Did we lose Mike? We may have lost Mike.
Oh,
I see. He's chatting with somebody here who I don't know what he. Mike,
I'm back, Carl. Go ahead.
There you are.
Okay.
Well, Grace was just saying.
I was just asking if you had any final questions for me, as I've long exceeded the time here.
No, I have a lot of thanks for you. You were well-informed, well-spoken. I thought that was great, how you led off at the beginning when you said you had to go to the beginning about the qualifications of FUDDY. You were right on with the dates. It was January, I believe, 26, 2011. She was temporary director. And then, coincidentally, in March of 2011, right before the White House released that birth certificate, she became full-time director. And you have to look at that. The whole circumstance, you went into the plane, the landing, the control, all of that. It just doesn't add up. I thank you very much. Why don't you tell everybody how they can find you, where they can get you, and how they can contact you?
Okay, well, all my writing is at worldtribune.com, and that, by the way, is a fabulous site run by a man that I really, really respect, Robert Morton. I worked with him in Washington, D.C. for many, many years. I also am the founder of the Edmund Burke Institute, so there's a link on that site, which is Dr. Grace's latest column. You can find my writing there, and I'm also on the air every week on WTSB, that's American Heartland with Dr. Grace on WTSB. It's a show that airs in North Carolina. That's at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. And all of the radio shows are archived, by the way. They're archived at YouTube, so Grace Photo, YouTube.com/Grace Photo is all of the radio episodes.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.